Newsmakers.
Citi
News.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Citi Prime News. The news is live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. I am Zoe Abube-Eduardo. Coming up, NIA workers withdraw services over delayed operational support allowance.
Members are on strike, so if you go to NIA right now, nobody will attend to you.
Also coming up, aggrieved teachers call off protest over unpaid salaries following assurances from the GES to pay the money by end of July.
There has been official communique from the Ghana Education Service. So we have suspended our picketing for now.
Still ahead, Kennedy Japan's calm downplays Baumia endorsements by former MMDCEs as they claim polling station executives hold the power to determine their next flag bearer.
For us in Team Ken, this does not disturb us, but our focus is much on the over 200,000 polling station executives who are going to vote. We are of the view that they hold sovereignty. Sovereignty resides in them, and they are going to make the decision.
And later, fatal crash on Winneba Palm Highway claims lives of students and a taxi driver.
On the spot, the taxi driver lost his life. The reports we are getting indicates that 3 of the children have also passed on, which is very sad.
The news is live across a number of our partner stations. In the Western region, we're on Premier 100.5 FM, Sky Power 93.5 FM, and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrade. In the Bono region, we're on J Life 95.5 FM in Sunyane. Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. Volta region, Akpini Radio 96.7 in Pando, and Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi. In the Northern region, we're on Dasuma 99.1 in Yendi, Upper East. Wed FM 88.3 in Zuarungu, Upper West. Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura, and in the Northeast region, you can hear us on Eagle FM 94.1 in Waliwali. We are also live on YouTube, on Citi FM's YouTube page, as well as our Facebook and Twitter handles.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Thank you for your time this afternoon. Now, members of the Public Services Workers Union of the National Identification Authority have begun an indefinite strike today. General Secretary of the union, Bernard J, told Citi News the action was prompted by the Ministry of Finance's failure to provide a clear timeline or commitment for the payment of the operational support allowance, the only allowance they receive to supplement their basic salaries. He noted that although the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has approved the payment, the continued delay by the ministry has left workers with no option but to withdraw their services.
We have made several efforts, including efforts at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, who then wrote to Finance to confirm that our agreement was valid and that we deserve the payment. They had verified, and the budget for compensation budget for NIA for 2025, which has been approved, is inclusive of this allowance. However, Finance has failed to direct controller to pay us. And at a meeting yesterday, the Ministry of Finance, they rather told us it was not budgeted for, which is contrary to what we know. Members are on strike, so if you go to NIA right now, nobody will attend to you.
So that's Bernard J, who is the General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union of the National Identification Authority. My colleague Elizabeth Okanti has been to some NIA offices and she joins us on the phone lines. Good afternoon, Elizabeth. Where have you been and what can you report?
Okay, so I'm currently at the National Identification Authority head office. So when I got here, the place is very quiet, really quiet and empty. So right now, there's nothing going on here. When I got here, I saw that people wanted to enter to patronize the service, that the security at the gate post were, returning most of them. And so as I'm speaking here, they are going back to their various homes because there is no one yet to attend to them. But the information I'm getting from the head of corporate affairs at the National Identification Authority is that they are currently in a meeting with Fair Wages and Salary Commission to see what they can do to solve these issues that the concerns that is raised about the arrears being owed them. So they are in a meeting. So we are monitoring closely to see whether we'll get an update from that meeting.
You are the head office of the NIA. I presume that a number of people will be trooping in to get services from the NIA. What have some of them been telling you?
So right now, the most amazing fact is that I think the Citi is engaging people who would like to come in, explaining the situation to them that members are on strike and that today there is no work being done by staff members. So staff members are not here. You can't even see any of them. I by chance had the opportunity to get to their reception, and the only people I can see is the reception who are only there to meet and direct people. Apart from that, those that are supposed to work, there's nobody there. So the place is literally empty, and their car park is even empty. So that's the situation there. People are being returned to go back to their various homes. So we are checking to see if maybe by the close of the day there will be a change of mind as to the outcome of the meeting with the corporate head office person.
All right. Thank you so much. And that was Elizabeth Okansi reporting from the headquarters of the National Identification Authority, where members of the Public Services Workers Union have begun an indefinite strike over an allowance, the operational support allowance, which hasn't been paid to them. We'll still stay with issues having to do with labor, and aggrieved teachers from the 2022 batch of the Colleges of Education trained graduates have suspended their picketing following assurances from the Ghana Education Service that their outstanding salaries will be paid by the end of July. The teachers gathered at the GES headquarters yesterday to demand answers over months of unpaid salaries and delays in the issuance of staff identification numbers. Speaking to Citi News, spokesperson for the group, Eric Dakon, urged government to honor its promise.
We started our picketing yesterday, and then we came to the ministry this morning as well. But then the PRO has spoken, and there has been official communique from the Ghana Education Service. So we have suspended our picketing from now. We are hoping that by the end of July, we will receive our salaries. As the PRO said, they are the final stage of resolving our issue. So but we should hope very soon. That was what he said, very, very soon. We will receive our salaries. So we are waiting, and we are hoping that the very soon will be by the end of July. If we don't hear anything from them, we will come back again, and we will come back stronger.
That was a spokesperson of the aggrieved teachers from the 2022 batch of Colleges of Education trained graduates, Eric Dakon. The Health Accountants Staff Association of Ghana, HASAG, is scheduled to meet the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission today to address prolonged delays in negotiations over its conditions of service. HASAG says discussions, which began in November 2023, have stalled despite multiple appeals to resume the talks. The association has since threatened to embark on industrial action if the deadlock persists. Speaking to Citi News, the National Secretary of HASAG, Sechofia Kofi Fiawife, expressed hope that the meeting will yield a favorable resolution.
Okay, the meeting has been called today at 2 p.m. Yeah, we are going in the spirit of good faith to negotiate. And so we are positive that it turn out well. Like I always say, we are law-abiding, and there are laid down processes in the labor law. And like I said, we are going to the spirit of faith. We are hoping that something positive will.
That was the National Secretary of the Health Accounting Staff Association of Ghana, Sechofia Kofi Fiawife. Now, former Chief Executive of the Tema Metropolitan Assembly, David Annan, has attributed the encroachment on greenbelt areas in Tema to the activities of private developers. He noted that these areas, originally reserved for recreational purposes, are being depleted due to the increasing construction of concrete structures, which is eroding the natural greenery. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show today, the former mayor of Tema cautioned private developers against building on designated greenbelt zones, stressing the need to preserve the natural landscape for recreational use.
And I think we hide behind the fact that private sector development, private people can go in and develop it. But when the private people go in and develop, fine, the place will be developed. But it will not serve the purpose for which it was made. For example, because Tema was built up in the early days, they left that place up an area for an outdoor playing ground. People were going in there to use it. It was fine. But after some time, it was left, the place was left, so the land has been lying fallow. Many people met me those times to say it's completely out of phase with what it was initially planned for. You and I love the green. And therefore me, if you come into my house, I have an area, like a full plot area for green grass. I love it. And so I wanted the place to be kept for that. But people who come in are coming to have concrete and concrete and concrete and concrete. That is what we must guard against. Persons go in there now, they want to develop it, but they want to put concrete, which will defeat the initial purpose for which the area was reserved. And I think that's what has destroyed most of the, how do I call it, the green belts left in Tema.
David Annan further called on the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to act swiftly to restore green areas that are being encroached upon for development in Tema.
Citi says, which is only the custodian of the land, holding custody of the land for the state, they also go ahead and approve plans, which shouldn't be their responsibility. And that's one cause of the problem. So politicians go there, they get the land, and they do whatever without even any say from TMA. So that is actually the problem over there. And so unless the Minister of Local Government and Works and Housing see how they manage that interface, the problem will persist. And all the green areas left in Tema will go unless they have a way of managing it.
You heard there the former chief executive of the Tema Metropolitan Assembly, David Annan. Now, 3 students and a taxi driver have died following a crash at Netribru on the Winneba-Apam Highway in the Central Region. The students from the Uncle Rich and St. Paul Basic Schools were returning home from school at around 4 p.m. yesterday when another vehicle collided into the taxi they were on board. Eyewitnesses' accounts suggest driver of the Toyota collided head-on with a taxi cab after a wrongful overtaking. The crash led to the death of the driver on the spot as it took emergency responders strenuous efforts to extricate his body. One of the students also died on the spot while 2 others died while on admission at the trauma and specialist in Winneba, raising the death toll to 4. 2 other students who survived the crash are receiving treatment. The Winneba Municipal Fire Commander DO2 Frederick Edupoko addressed the media on the incident.
In fact, we didn't delay. We moved swiftly to the scene. Upon reaching, we realized that there was a head-on collision between a RAV4 vehicle and a Hyundai Jet taxi cab. We understand that the taxi was heading towards Apam, whilst the RAV4 was also coming from the opposite direction. In fact, eyewitness reports indicate that the RAV4 made an overtaking. He did an overtaking, and I think the taxi, who was also coming from the opposite direction, did not notice him, and that was what actually caused the accident. On the spot, the taxi driver lost his life, and before even the crew got to the scene, 3 of the kids who were in the taxi had been transported to the trauma hospital. This morning, the reports we are getting indicates that 3 of the children have also passed on, which is very sad. So we want to extend our condolences to the bereaved family.
DO2 Frederick Edupoko is the Winneba Municipal Fire Commander. You're still listening to the City Prime News. Still to come, Kennedy Japan's calm down plays Bawumia endorsements by former MMDCEs as they claim polling station executives hold the power to determine their next flag bearer.
For us in Timken, this does not disturb us, but our focus is much on the over 200,000 polling station executives who are going to vote. We are of the view that they hold sovereignty. Sovereignty resides in them, and they are going to make the decision.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Looking for the latest buzz in Ghana's entertainment world? Welcome to Ghana Weekend, your ultimate destination for all things creativity and entertainment.
Stay in the loop with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and then insider stories from your favorite creatives and stars. From music, movies, fashion and art, lifestyle and culture, Ghana Weekend brings it all together. Get a daily dose of entertainment, discover new talent, and never miss out on the creativity that defines our vibrant culture.
Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle Ghana Weekend, on X Ghana Weekend, on TikTok Ghana Weekend, at Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube for the latest in entertainment, travel, and everything Ghana. Don't miss out. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, where entertainment meets creativity. Visit GhanaWeekend.com now.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back to the Citi Prime News. I am Zoe Abubeidu Ado. Now, spokesperson for Kennedy Ejipong Kwesi Kwarteng has downplayed concerns over a recent meeting between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and former Metropolitan Municipal and District Chief Executives, many of whom are reported to have endorsed Bawumia's flag-bearer bid. According to him, the final decision rests with the over 200,000 polling station executives who will vote in the New Patriotic Party's flag-bearer elections. Speaking to Citi News, Kwesi Kwarteng claimed the endorsements appeared coerced and did not reflect the true sentiments of the party's grassroots.
I'll be very surprised if Bawumia, a seasoned politician who has been in this game at least for the past 16 to 18 years, believes that if 220 people endorse you, he can take that endorsement seriously. I'll be very surprised. Certainly, he's not a novice in the game and understands that it cannot be possible for 220 people, all of them, to place such support on you. But come to think of it, are you also aware that some of the MMDCs has also issued a disclaimer to that effect? Let me state that ordinarily I wouldn't have responded because this was just a sponsored, choreographed, induced endorsement. It's not genuine, it's not real. All what they did was to just organize about 20 people to present it as though they have all the numbers. In any event, these DCs do not even vote. So what is the point? For us in Timken, this does not disturb us. Indeed, we had met them, shown respect to them, and declared our intention to also ask for their support. But our focus is much on the over 200,000 polling station executives who are going to vote. We are of the view that they hold sovereignty. Sovereignty resides in them, and they are going to make the decision.
Kwesi Kwarteng is spokesperson for the New Patriotic Party flag-bearer hopeful Kennedy Ejipong. Now, the Newsroom campaign has condemned allegations of financial inducements that have surfaced ahead of the New Patriotic Party's flag-bearer elections. This follows endorsements of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia by over 200 former MMDCEs, despite their earlier engagements with other aspirants. Some individuals have since alleged that the endorsements were influenced by financial incentives. Speaking to Citi News, spokesperson for the Educhum campaign, Ya Opoku, urged the NPP to reflect on its 2024 electoral defeat and avoid practices that could further damage the party's credibility.
Delegates are already known. If you want to engage them, you engage them in the quiet and reserve all the arsenals for the NDC after all this is over. Now, we are out there and our doors are so wide open, which seeks to welcome anybody inside. And that is quite challenging. So we don't have an issue if you meet somebody, whatever. But the gross disrespect for the rank and file of the party is where I'm concerning. You know, the beauty of whatever interaction that they had with them, that is not the focus now. The focus is on who paid what, who didn't pay what was said. And if you're a candidate and you seek endorsement to be relevant, then it tells that you are not ready to lead. It tells you are not ready to lead. So if your competence, your integrity, your thinking, innovative thinking skill should be the one that should be the basis for judgment and a certain form of endorsement.
Yao Opoko is spokesperson for the Educhum campaign team. Now, Member of Parliament for Afajato South, Frank Efriye, has ascribed the recent endorsement of former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia by former Metropolitan Municipal and District Chief Executives as misplaced and disconnected from the New Patriotic Party's current realities. His comments follow a public declaration on June 23 by a coalition of 220 former MMDCs who served under the New Patriotic Party from 2017 to 2024, endorsing Dr. Bawumia. Speaking on Channel 1 TV's Breakfast Daily, Frank Efriye cautioned against over-reliance on public endorsements, stressing that no candidate, regardless of stature or popularity, can win an election without the full support and active involvement of the party's grassroots.
So, if Dr. Bawumia or the Honorable Kennedy Ajapong or the rest are that formidable, capable of winning election on their own, they should go and try themselves as independent candidates. I'm telling you the gospel truth. They won't cross 5% mark. Yes. And so any, excuse my word, right-thinking party officer should rather be interested in fixing the party from the base. But not to say that, look, let's run away from all the problem. Let's go, take a flight to the top, elect a flag bearer, and now the flag bearer will be able to do solve all the problems. How can one person fix all these problems? Even the rate at which the internal processes are going is big enough for anyone who loses at the primaries to say that, oh, I won't cooperate. I'll sit and see how things unfold. And so for me, the whole show won't help the MPP. This is the time for elders within their fold to say, hey, guys, let's pull the brake. The trajectory we are trying to traverse will not help us. Will not help us achieve our overall game.
That was Member of Parliament for Afajato South, Frank Efriye. Still on the same show, the former Member of Parliament for Anyaso Otum, Dr. Dixon Adumahunkisi, criticized the endorsement, describing it as politically immature. He warned that such public declarations could undermine party cohesion and jeopardize efforts to promote inclusivity ahead of future elections.
Let me share with you the reason why it was politically immature for the MMDCs who even decided to do this, to do that. Because Dr. Brian Champon in the NEC meeting was making a strong case that the MMDCs should be added to the next register for the elections. So if you are people being considered to be put in the register and you make an opening declaration for one candidate, does that not worsen your appeal to be added? It wasn't. So this shows how unfortunate, misguided, and not well thought through the whole idea of declaring. Because people are making a case to add you to the register. And you are already telling us that when I get into the register, this is what I'm going to do. And you've already increased your resistance to this. And
that was former Member of Parliament for Anyaso Otum, Dr. Dixon Adumahunkisi. Let's now stay with the New Patriotic Party. Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central, Patrick Yabwama, has cautioned the party against rushing to elect a flag bearer. Speaking on Channel 1 TV's The Point of View, the MP said the party must first address internal challenges and restore public trust following its 2024 electoral defeat. He described the current focus on flag-bearer ambitions as premature and a distraction from the New Patriotic Party's urgent need for reform.
If you don't take care and you purport to rush the process and somebody feels the process was skewed one way or the other because the Electoral College was not reformed to reflect the times, how can you call that person to come and join a campaign wholeheartedly? That must be a source of worry to any of the aspirants who are declaring or who have declared so far. You need to carry the entirety of the party, the spirit and the body of the party behind you.
Patrick Bwama is Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central. Away from the New Patriotic Party now, the National Youth Authority says over 150,000 Ghanaians have enrolled in its National Apprenticeship Program, surpassing the anticipated 10,000 for the first phase of the initiative. According to the authority, this oversubscription demonstrates the enthusiasm of Ghanaian youth to seize the opportunities offered by the program. In an interview with Citi News during a meeting with master craftsmen to discuss skill development in Ghana, Deputy Chief Executive for the NYA, Jacob Adongo, noted that applicants are currently undergoing registration and assessment, with training set to commence in July to equip individuals with various apprenticeship skills.
Our forms have been oversubscribed by the young people. We initially wanted to train over 10,000 young people this year, but if you look at our fee, only even the online registration is almost more than 150,000 young people that have subscribed. Not talk about the forms that we have distributed to the various districts. So it means there's oversubscription of a sort. And so after this engagement, we will kickstart shortlisting the applicants and then the master craftsmen, and we'll distribute them and kickstart. So we are hoping that all things being equal, by July going to August, we should start training young people in all the various vocations. That means that the president would have fulfilled his promise to the young people of this country to ensure that we train people in various vocations of their choices.
Deputy Chief Executive of the National Youth Authority, Jacob Adongo. Now, farmers in Bembela within the Nanumba North Municipality of the Northern Region are voicing serious concerns over an invasion of army worms that is devastating their maize farms. Several hectares of farmland have been affected, with the pests destroying crops and endangering the livelihoods of local farmers. The farmers are urgently appealing to the government for assistance. There's more in the following report by Citi News' Northern Regional Correspondent Mohammed Aminu Alabira.
It's another farming season in the Northern Region, but for many farmers in the Nandong area, the mood is far from hopeful. Last year, around this same time in June, a prolonged dry spell crippled farming activities, affecting both yields and livelihoods. This year, whilst the rains have been more favorable, a new threat has emerged. Army worms, the destructive pests, are sweeping across maize farms in the Nanumba North Municipality, leaving destruction in their wake. Visit to various farms in the area confirmed widespread damage to maize crops, with visible distress, farmers counting their losses. In an interviews, affected farmers shared their frustrations and appealed to the government for immediate intervention.
The farm has been invaded by army worms, and with this situation, I don't think I can get good yield. So if the government can do something about it, so that the agriculture ministry will help us with chemicals that can eradicate such worms.
How severe it is?
Very, very severe. You can also say they have destroyed most of the crops. And this was not the way it was when it was coming up. Initially, it was not this way. But when you enter this time, you can see that no, most of the crops have been destroyed.
Personally, I have about 10 acres of land, but currently the army worms have invaded almost every source of the land. And when you go and have a look at it, you see that the leaves and everything is wearing down. And actually, we are in trouble if the government doesn't come to our aid.
Traditionally, government support in the form of free chemicals for pest control has helped mitigate such challenges. However, farmers say that support has yet to arrive this season. The municipal agricultural officer in charge of crops confirmed the situation. He acknowledged the severity of the infestation and noted that the government's consignment of chemicals is yet to be delivered.
Because you've been doing free distribution over the years. So those farmers who have been with us all this year, when they just see the sign, they quickly come. A lot of farmers have reported this year, but because you don't have the free chemicals for distribution this year, you recommend chemicals in the open market for those farmers to use as spray. And then during our revisit, you realize that those farmers who came early to report and you recommended a chemical for them, you see that their farms have been Okay. But those farmers who have decided not to come, they are having the challenge of the fallout can destroy almost all their food.
He further encouraged farmers to frequently visit the agricultural office for updates and timely support.
As a farmer, you should take agri office as your clinic, because you are not saying you know a lot, but if you come there, you have a challenge. You should be able to address it for you, because it will be surprising for you to see a serious farmer who doesn't even know the way to agri office.
That's a report filed by Citi News' Northern Regional Correspondent Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira. That's how we end Citi Prime News, which came to you live from our studio in Adabraka. Log on to our website, citynewsroom.com, for more news. I am Zoe Abubeduado. Have a good afternoon.
Citi News.